After a long workday, you come home and you're finally glad that you have some time to rest. You grab your phone and you tell to yourself, it's just 10 minutes. But then, boom, it's midnight. Another evening is gone. You don't even remember half of the things you just watched. You feel it when your head hits the pillow, that sinking guilt, that quiet voice saying, you wasted. Again. Another day. You swear yourself tomorrow you'll read, you'll clean your space, you'll do something about your life, but it never happens. Is this what life supposed to be? Work from 9 to 5 and then scroll 6 to 12? Repeat again and again and again for 30 years? This isn't rest, because you're not resting, and this isn't life either. And the reality is that you're not even relaxing. You're numbing yourself. You are avoiding the reality one swipe at a time. But here's the thing. You can actually break this cycle, and you don't need more motivation, or you don't need to push yourself harder to do this. You need a fundamental shift that's gonna get out of this place. I know this because I was in the exact position you are right now. And in this video, I want to share you what got me out of this place. You might be thinking this is another video telling you to delete social media and stop doom scrolling, but it's actually not. Because doom scrolling is not the root cause, it's actually the symptom. The real problem is that you don't even know what your evenings to be. After battling with like 7 years with major depression, I actually realized something. Real fulfillment doesn't come from avoiding the bad stuff. It actually comes from choosing the good stuff. Because you can't really escape from the bad stuff in life, but you can actively choose the good stuff in your own life. We have to deliberately choose what our attention is going to go to. And that choice starts with a very simple question. What do I want my highlight of the day be? Where am I going to put my attention and my energy to? And I'm not even talking about creating a to-do list or scheduling your whole day and whole week. I'm just talking about selecting your highlight for that day. Just one thing that if you accomplish it, you're gonna go to bed without guilt, feeling accomplished, feeling like you gave your everything and it was a successful day. And it could be determined by urgency, joy, or fulfillment. It doesn't have to be something that has deadline every single day. What matters is actually not what you pick, but the fact that you deliberately pick that thing. You know, let's say if it's urgent, it could be finish this project I'm working on. Or if it's based on joy, it could be call mom for 20 minutes. And if it's fulfillment, it could be something like write for 20 minutes today. It might sound simple and you might be thinking, is that all? But the reality is that, in my opinion, what overwhelms us is actually not the amount of tasks and responsibilities we have in front of us, but actually feeling out of control. It feels like everything is equally important and we have no control over our lives. No matter how well you do, there's always more to do. There's always more to accomplish, and it just feels endless. I have ADHD, and when I, tell this to my friends who are quite interested into productivity, they recommended me to try out the Eisenhower matrix. And how Eisenhower matrix works is that most of the time, important things are never urgent and urgent things are rarely important. For example, let's say you want to get fit. You don't have a deadline for that. No one is telling you to get in shape by end of this month or something. So you don't really have a deadline for that. So it's not urgent, but it is important for your long-term goals and long-term health and happiness and fulfillment from life, etc., etc. So usually there's a difference between urgency and importance. And so basically I created my whole productivity system around it, and I used it for a while. And at the beginning, it really worked well for me. I was able to distinguish the difference between them, and I was making sure that I make time for both of the things. But then as I started to have more responsibilities and have projects that involved other people, I realized that I started to lose a differentiation between important and urgent because, there were other people than me included in that task. So trying to differentiate between the urgent and important tasks started to require a lot of cognitive work from my side. And because it required a lot of cognitive power from my side, I started skipping them and not use the method at all. I was reflecting about this in my journal, and I realized that the periods in my life where I'm most satisfied with my life actually didn't have any correlation to how many tasks I was getting in that specific day. For example, some days I was getting a lot of things done and I was feeling very fulfilled, versus there were days where I didn't do anything but I was still happy. I realized, for me at least, it wasn't the amount of tasks that I accomplished that mattered, but it was the feeling, that knowing I'm in control and I have the choice. I knew what I was doing. And after this realization, I really implemented this daily highlight practice where I deliberately sit every single morning and choose one task that's going to be the highlight of my day. And if I finish it, it's a win for the day. Once I started doing this, I first started with picking the most urgent tasks for the day as a daily highlight. Even if I couldn't finish all the to-do lists that I have in my list, if I, let's say, finish the task A, which is the most important and urgent one, I will feel like I accomplished, I did my best for the day, and I am happy and I'm going to sleep. That was kind of the thing. And also, like, during the day, because I had that daily highlight thing and I knew I have to, not that I have to get it done, but I want to get it done no matter what, I started to actually eliminate a lot of things in my task, and I was looking at my schedule realistically, and I started to think, like, how much time do I actually need to finish my daily highlight, and what do I have in front of me? Okay, let's cancel these. And I started to sort of like prioritize, and I started to really shift my attention to the thing that mattered and that will make me fulfilled. So it really allowed me to be more productive subconsciously and without trying to stick to a routine that I couldn't commit to after 3 days. The interesting part is that even though I wasn't necessarily trying to be more productive, it allowed me to use my time more productively. Now, after a few weeks, I actually started to pick my daily highlights based on joy and fulfillment because I was already starting to procrastinate less. So I was like, okay, why not choose something just for fun? There was a book that I wanted to read, which was a novel, and it's basically not like related to my work at all. And old me would be, okay, this is an entertainment, it's not going to necessarily benefit me in my career. So old me would say like, okay, let me read that book if I finish all the tasks that I have in my list. And obviously I would procrastinate and I would never be able to finish all the tasks that I have in front of me. So I will never get to read that book. And I would feel guilty and crappy about myself every night. And I would think like, I can't read that book because I didn't finish it. And why did I procrastinate? Like, I'm so bad at this. I'm so behind. All this like really toxic thought patterns, But after I started saying like, okay, my daily highlight is reading this novel for 20 minutes. I'm going to make time for it. Whether I finish my list or not, I'm going to read this novel for 20 minutes because it's my daily highlight. And if I read it, it would be a great day because not every day has to be measured by success and productivity. Shocker. I have this like thing that I'm looking forward to, reading that novel. So I actually started to doom scroll less. And because I knew I would do it even if I get things done or not, I wasn't really punishing myself. I became more positive towards my performance, and it allowed me to actually have more energy, and work started to not feel like something that I had to do, but I was choosing deliberately to do that. It overall increased my willingness and energy towards life, and I procrastinated less. And here's the thing, if you want more time for your daily highlight, you gotta cut time on tasks that you don't enjoy that could be automated. For me personally, that was creating slides. I really love explaining concepts to my coaching students and also to my team, but making presentations used to take me forever. I kept thinking, there should be a better way to do this. And that's when I found Gamma, who is also kindly sponsoring a portion of this video. Instead of spending hours on formatting, I just put my input, like my ideas, and get a polished presentation in minutes. Like, it's really easy to use, and you can generate something in Gamma from just a simple prompt. Like, it could be like, I don't know, make me a lesson on squids or something, or import existing content in your Notion, in Google Docs, wherever that you have it, and then improve it. Whether it's for side projects, portfolios, or work stuff, it's basically an all-in-one content creation tool. You can export the content to Google Slides or PDFs or PowerPoint or share a link, or directly present it in Gamma. When you remove that friction, you actually have time for what matters. You basically have more time for your daily highlight. I think Gamma is a game changer, and especially if you're creating a lot of slides, whether you're a student, whether you're working, check out gamma.app if you want to try it out. And thank you, Gamma, for supporting this channel and making it possible for me to make videos about the topics that I care. And here's something that might hit you. When I became an adult, when I started to have my own schedule, my own money, and my freedom, basically, after finishing work, I actually didn't know what to do because I didn't know what I truly enjoyed. There was a period of time where a friend of me asked, Rudy, what do you do when you're not working? And I couldn't answer it because I didn't have an answer. The answer was work. I work. Even after work, I work. That was all it. And I thought maybe I was the only one because like I'm a YouTuber and there's no distinguish like difference between my personal life and work. But my brother and I talked about this a few weeks ago, where he was also explaining that, he's a dentist by the way, he was also saying that after work he didn't really know what to do because he doesn't necessarily have a hobby or a passion or a strong purpose towards something. So by default, he was doom scrolling. And even though he knew he wants to change this, he doesn't know where to start or what to do. I thought about why this happens, and in my opinion, the reason is we were always in environments where our social circles were chosen for us, and our interests were influenced by people around us, basically. But when you become an adult, you're supposed to figure out who you are, what you like, and how you spend your own time. But I feel like no one taught us really how to do that. Most of us don't have any hobbies. I think we are really prone to decline invitations if it's something that we never tried before. And there's always this hesitation towards trying something new, starting something new, and being really bad at it, and maybe even looking stupid at it. I also do this. Like, for example, a friend of mine asked me, let's go hiking. And I was like, hiking? Why would I even climb a mountain? Like, what the hell is on top of a mountain? Why would I do that? I hate hiking. Spoiler alert, I never tried hiking ever in my life. So how the hell do you know that you hate it, really? Right? I don't know, but I declined it, even though I never tried it. I feel like majority of us never experimented outside of work to try new things and try to find fulfillment outside of work. We're constantly busy. We tell ourselves that, oh, I don't like that, I don't do that thing, without even trying. So we are default to mindless scrolling because that's the easiest thing and that's the safest thing that we can do. And after starting to practice this daily highlight thing for a while, even during the day, I started to think like, what could bring me more joy and fulfillment? What do I enjoy actually? And I started actively looking around opportunities that I could try for my daily highlight. For example, the reason I also kind of like started golfing, I do it here and there. I'm really bad at it. I'm terrible at it. And the reason was that a friend of mine was doing it, and old me would be like, oh, why would I do it? Like, it's old and sports. But I was like, okay, I actually don't know what to pick like for my daily highlight today. But why not give it a try? And I tried it. I really enjoyed it. And for example, a daily highlight that I have for a few weeks later is actually go to a golf lesson. And I'm really looking forward for that. It added something that I never knew that I could enjoy. And that's another thing that I enjoy right now in my life. And here's what I want you to understand. Most of the people that I talk to say that they either need to quit their job, change their job, or become an entrepreneur to truly enjoy their life and find fulfillment. But I kind of disagree with that. Obviously, if you really hate your job, then maybe that's the thing that you need to do. If that's not the case, I don't think quitting is the only answer. I don't really think you necessarily need to quit your job or become an entrepreneur to enjoy your life. Yes, maybe your 9 to 5 could be boring and maybe it's not that fulfilling, but it provides a lot of stability, which I miss as a YouTuber. If you don't enjoy your 9 to 5 and if you can't change it right now, then what we can do is that make sure that after 5 is exciting for you. Even if it's 30 minutes, even if it's an hour time for you that you deliberately pick and choose where your attention is going. The life you want isn't on the other side of career change, actually. It's with you right now, and you can choose that. When it comes to picking my daily highlight, I usually pick it first thing in the morning while I'm having my morning coffee and my breakfast because it's a part of my routine. And rather than creating a new routine to, incorporate something new, I would rather implement it with my existing routine, almost like stacking up another habit on top of an existing habit because it's way easier. So, for example, you can add this daily highlight practice maybe while having your breakfast, or maybe before you commute to work. You take 5 minutes, you do the thing, and then you commute to work. Just an example. And for picking my daily highlight and to make sure I don't forget that I, do this practice, I use my Kaizen Notion system, or let's call it Kaizen 2.0, because I've been working on this for over a year now, and it's finally renewed, and we have a new version of it. And I'm basically running my whole life on my Kaizen 2.0 system. And one of the issues that I heard again and again and again, and I also personally experienced, was that whenever you incorporate a new system or new routine or new, let's say, Notion thing in your life, we quit within like 3 days or so. And I also personally experienced that too. Like, there were times where I would buy premium Notion templates, and even though I spent a lot of money on it, I would quit after a few days and I would feel shitty about myself. And I was like, why can I not stick to something? So I thought about the reason why this happens and how I can solve this issue. And so I have this Kaizen 1.0, which over 600 people actually purchased and really loved, and I asked for feedback. One thing that I realized was that one reason why most people quit is because a lot of systems are too complicated, that it requires you a lot of willpower to learn and understand the system, yet alone, I'm not getting even to the point where you actually stick to it. So that was a huge learning massive block that was there. And the second one was that it was taking a lot of time. So the Kaizen 1.0, it was most of the systems that you see online are taking a lot of time because these are created by people who are obsessed with those kind of things and who almost do and use these systems as a hobby for their life. So I was like, okay, how can I make this as simple as possible so that even someone doesn't know anything can understand this in 5 minutes? And the second thing was that how can I make it so easy and so streamlined that you can stick to it every single day, even if you're going through a bad day. I personally played around with my own system and I used it for a year. And during that year, I changed and tried new ways and again and again and again and again and again. And I finally created the final version, which I think my mom can even use it. My mom, I recommended Notion to my mom a few years ago. She got lost. She got really overwhelmed and then she quit and she never used it again. But I feel like the new version of Kaizen 2.0 is so easy that my mom can even use it. So when you get the new version of Kaizen 2.0, you actually get 2 versions, one simple version and one advanced version. And the great part is that you can always switch between 2 because all the information, all the data you put is synced. And let's say we start with the Kaizen 2.0, which is the simple version, which is the version that I recommend for you to start. When you go there, you have today's Kaizen. And when you click on it, you brain dump everything that you have in your mind so that we clear your mind first, right? And then you can write down thoughts, you can write down tasks you're dealing with, you can write down anything that you want, basically. Just free up your mind. And then what I want you to do with this Kaizen system is pick your daily highlight. And you select your daily highlight and you put rest of the remaining tasks into the system so that you don't worry about forgetting them or trying to figure out them in a different place. You have it all in one place. And then we have micro commitments, but it's for another video, and you're done. That's it. With the simple version, you just need 5 minutes per day and you're done. And if you want more, you can always explore the advanced version. Some days I'm really overwhelmed and I have no motivation at all, so I just use a simple system. Even like laying on my bed, I just do it. And then later down the day, if I get more energy, I can always switch to the advanced vision and I can select the details. And if not, it's completely fine. So I love that flexibility of having both options. So it really allowed me to stick with the system, made me commit to this daily highlight practice, which also allowed me to be aware of my life and have that sense of control and stop doom scrolling and find something that I enjoy after work. If you're interested, Kaizen 2.0 is now available and the link is in the description. Check it out. Whether you get the Kaizen system or not, I really want you to incorporate this selecting daily highlight in your routine because I think it's one of the easiest way to get out of the situation that you are in right now and find more fulfillment and quit doom scrolling in a more wholesome and in a more fundamental way. Because imagine this, tomorrow you come back to home after work and instead of like immediately reaching out to your phone, you think to yourself, oh, what was my highlight for today? And you pick up your phone and you look at it and you're like, okay, let me make a little bit of time for that. You make yourself a cup of tea and then you call your friend, you catch up, and then you can doom scroll if you want to. You're not going to feel guilty about it because you got your daily highlight done. Or it could be like spend more time with your wife. Then maybe you two go to a dinner together or maybe you make dinner together. Instead of picking doom scrolling, you pick one activity deliberately for that day and you make that thing a highlight of yours. I think it also allows you to be more aware when you're doing that activity and appreciate that more. I think it just feels like more like living, not on autopilot. You have the control over your life and you're picking that thing and you're doing that thing. I don't know, it just really changed my perspective towards these things and helped me with fulfillment. And because you did your daily highlight, you go to bed accomplished. And it's not because you did more stuff, you got more things done, but because you actually lived your day instead of just surviving it. And this version of you is not more motivated than before. It's not that you have more motivation, drive, or hustle mindset or anything, but it's because you have the right system and you have the right mindset to make the right choice. I think the easiest way to apply this into your life is my Kaizen system. But I also understand that some of us are going through difficult financial seasons of our lives. And I also experienced that in the past. And I know how it feels. So if you're going through financial hardship right now, but seriously want my Kaizen system and want to try it out, I actually decided to give it to a few people every single month who really need it but who can't afford it. You can apply for the free template in the link in the description below, but please apply if you're really going through actual financial hardship rather than, oh, I want to get this thing for free. Because every single month, yes, I'm going to pick people, but I want these people to be the ones who are actually struggling, that really needing the help but can't afford it. So please don't apply to it if you're not in a financial hardship. It's in the description, check it out. And if this helped you, let me know in the comments whether you've ever came across this method of daily highlight and Have you ever tried it and what you think about it? And also, let's actually put this into action. Instead of selecting your daily highlight tomorrow, what if you commented it in the comment section what your daily highlight can be for today? Let me know.